All right, Katie Aubert, welcome to your first one-on-one with Hype Plus.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm happy to be here. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great conversation. I definitely wanted to make sure that this happened, just due to the fact that I haven't seen you do a lot of interviews.
Which is crazy because I actually love interviews.
So why are we not doing interviews?
You know, it's not that we're not doing it. It's just kind of like, I feel like it makes sense when you have something to talk about or, you know, something to promote but just, it's like going live on Instagram, you know, just to ramble, you know, it's just.
It's like, what's the point? Times have changed though, I think.
No, the times, it has changed. It has changed.
Podcasts.
And I feel like with interviews, it's like the people's opportunity to get to see who I really am outside of the characters that I play.
Got you. So let's take it back to the beginning. Where did you grow up? Where were you born and raised?
So I grew up mainly in California. So the story goes, my mother had me young. So my grandfather was in the Air Force. And so I was born on a military base, but immediately my grandfather got stationed to an Air Force base in California. Okay. And so I'm technically from California. Is that right, technically? Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much I'm a California girl because of that. So when people say I can't claim the southern roots all the way because of that. Which is,
right. With having a young mom, like, how was your childhood like? Was it different than your peers?
My childhood was amazing. I'm so thankful for my childhood because I know that that's why I'm the person that I am today. Like, I know people say that, but it's like my childhood was so full of adventure and, you know, we didn't have the technology and things like that. So it was like just playing in the street. I was like the only girl most of the time around a bunch of boys. So it was a lot of trees, climbing trees and hanging out in abandoned buildings and just, which kind of sounds crazy now because it's a different, back then it was fun. Like, you know, it just sit there and it's a whole different, trying to justify my job.
No, you're fine.
No, comparing it to now, it's just like, when you think about it.
Yeah, you don't do a lot of the same things that
playing out in the street till you know, and then coming home for dinner. Like that was cool.
I think in the sense of just even playing, because now it's technology, right?
And getting creative, because it was like we playing baseball, and if we hit the ball so far we couldn't find it or something, we just go grab some lemons off a tree and use that. Okay. You know, my house was like the hangout.
So you were a tomboy.
Total tomboy.
Did you have siblings, brothers, sisters?
I do. I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So I grew up with my brother, and then because it's like the whole parent, really, the relationships were kind of didn't stay. You know what I'm saying? How can I say this? Okay, so my dad and my mom, I think they were drinking at a party, and that's how I was born.
Got you.
And then they went off and got married and got into real relationships. So then other siblings came along. So yeah, I'm the oldest. I believe there's about 6 or 7.
Got you.
There's like 6 or 7.
So overall, like, how much was, like, you know, with your mother being young, like, how did that, like, I guess, become different for you? Like, when did you notice that your mother was not the same age as your peers' parents?
Well, you know, that wasn't really something. I just knew my mom was always like the hot bomb. She was always, you know, more beautiful than most of the other moms. My mom was like, she was the shit. She kept herself like, you know, suited and booted. It was just, she was awesome. And then, you know, I spent a lot of time, I was a daddy's girl. So my stepfather came along and was, you know, at a young age. And he kind of was, I think I spent more time with him because he was like the funner, cooler parent.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as like school, like what kind of student were you? And what did you try to study in school?
I was a great student. And, you know, I think that's one of the regrets that I have. I don't really have too many regrets, but one of the regrets that I think I have in my life. Like, I was a great student, but once my parents got divorced, you know, that's where my schooling took a turn.
Okay.
And my personality and my character took a turn, and you know, it kind of changed. It really changed at that point.
Was the divorce more so like it just took like a total hit emotionally, seeing your parents kind of like?
Yeah,
split?
because it wasn't something that was that common. Nowadays, it's like, oh, it's just like going to the store getting some milk. But yeah, it wasn't really common, and I really got used to that structure, and so. You know, but I played sports, and I just was always surrounded with a lot of good friends and stuff like that. So that was something that helped me.
Kind of like distract from it?
Yeah.
Did you more so take it personally as if you did something wrong attached to that?
No, I don't think so. And to be honest with you, I just haven't really. I got deep into church, and I was young. I was like 14. And I was the only one in my family going to church. So it was like sports and church. And the bus would come pick me up on Sundays. And then I think I joined the choir. And I know that I got baptized. I thought it was like something you do every Sunday. So I got baptized every Sunday as much as I could. And then they like gave me some scuba diving gear for Christmas. And that's when I got I was like, I probably should slow down on this.
Your family got you scuba diving gear?
No, my friends at church, because they were like, girl, you're not supposed to keep doing that. Like, maybe you should look into scuba diving.
Okay. Got you. Got you.
That's how I dealt with divorce.
As far as like, you know, how did you even know to gravitate towards the church though?
You know, it was just something that, I'm a Sagittarius, so we tend to be like quite spiritual, and, you know, I don't know exactly how it came into my life. I'm sure if I sat here and really thought about it, it would come to me, but, you know, it was something, and it was like something that like, I think I'm the kind of person that when I am into something, I get really involved.
Yeah.
And as I got older, it was like I became the one that was having like Bible studies at my house. Wow. I started like this little through the mail thing where I'd go to like Kinko's and get the pretty paper with the decorations on it and type scriptures and mail them to my friends. You know what I mean? I was like really like sold out for Jesus.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep walking us through these questions, but what was the first memory that you had when you were like, you know what, I want to maybe be in show business or be in the limelight a little bit more?
So, you know, the funny thing about this stuff is that I really wasn't like planning on this stuff. I wasn't planning. This wasn't like, I was an athlete. I played softball, and that was my thing. I was like, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna get a scholarship, you know, like that was the path. And then it was like, and I think like Cal State Fullerton had a really great team, and I was like, maybe I'll coach for Cal State Fullerton. You know what I mean? Like that was like the thing. Sports. And it really wasn't until I used to do hair shows. If you were someone who know me for a while, like I love to change my hair. It's because when I first started, it was like, that was the thing. I used to go, me and my friends, we would go, to be honest with you, like I think that was like some of my first stand-up, because I feel so comfortable in hair salons, especially if I know all the stylists and they let me just walk around and crack jokes and mess with their clients. Like that is my thing. And so back when I was playing sports in college, it was like in my spare time, I go hang out with all my friends at the hair salon. And then it was like, we started planning hair shows. We go to the grocery store and get a box of wine and some fried chicken. And we would plan these hair shows. And so it wasn't really until, you know, the hair show and the makeup and stuff like that. And I'm landing in all these hair magazines, and I'm on the hair chart. you know, and so that was when it really kind of started. And then there was like this one chick who approached me one time, and she was a college she was going to school for photography, and she had asked to take some pictures of me for something, and I just was like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so it seemed though too, like, because you weren't trying to go that path, it kind of found you. Why did you end up staying? What was it about it? Was there something that you felt when you saw yourself in these pictures?
It wasn't really until people were like, girl, you know how they say your family's like, girl, you should be a model. You should be mind you, I was like 6 sizes bigger than what I am right now.
Okay.
Because, you know, us softball girls, we're not skinny.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was a lot thicker than what I am right now. And so being a model wasn't even like something you think about. And it wasn't until it was like more and more people started seeing me in these magazines and seeing me, you know, posted up places. And they were like, you should really think about it. You should really think about it. Shout out to Keith Savage, who was the first photographer that like started all this. I just found him on Facebook because I was like, I wonder if I can find him.
Okay.
But he doesn't know I found him. And so, yeah, it was more of that. And then it was me like taking trips to LA to try it out, and you know, and it was like a lot of rejection because of my size. They're like, you're cute, but you're just too big.
What were you at that time? Can you tell us? What was your weight or your size at that time?
I had to be I'm 5'10".
Okay.
So at that time, I was probably about maybe 170, 175.
Okay.
You know.
And what was their goal to get you, or what were they saying? You need to be like a 150, that area, or like?
It wasn't even like a number they get. Well, eventually it turned into that. But you know, at that point, I just was like, after all the rejection, all the doors closing, and I'm like, but I'm in these magazines, but everyone's, you know, look what I'm doing. It wasn't enough, and you know, that was when I just was like, screw it, I'll just go and get me a job doing makeup at the mall, and then you know, I'll learn how to. I'll get in the business that way. Like that was kind of like my thing.
So you ultimately almost gave up?
Yeah.
Because of just the rejection part of the business?
Yeah.
Did it get to a point like you would like leave and go and like cry over like some of the responses, or how did it?
No.
How bad did it get for you to at least say, you know what, I'm good on this?
I don't know. It wasn't like I don't know. It didn't really affect me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure maybe if I'm not the cry in the pillow type chick, because it's like, if you tell me no, it's like, okay, that wasn't meant.
Right.
That's kind of more or less the approach that I take.
It's got a spiritual element to it. Just
I'm like, if it's supposed to happen, it'll happen.
If it's for me, it's for me.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, I think, was it more so of the energy that made you kind of like step back?
It wasn't really, I mean, the thing is, they told me what it was. It was my weight. So it was like, okay, so either you go do something about it, you know, and I did start focusing more on my weight, which I didn't before. It wasn't even an issue. But it was more or less about, you know what, I'm just gonna figure out another way. That was kind of all that was. Got you. You know?
Okay. And so it
ended up happening anyway.
Yeah. Just thinking about that and reflecting in the moment now, what do you think the message was or the lesson that you got out of that you did kind of make a pivot and still end up in the place that you were after? For sound.
No, I think what that taught me was to cut back on the box wine and fried chicken. Like that was one of the first messages.
I know. Go ahead. So I gotta re-say the question anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. In reflecting now that where you've kind of have now landed, looking back then, what do you think the message was tied into that?
I think the message was to cut back on fried chicken and boxed wine. No, I think that it was just, it's kind of like I read a lot of books, right? And a lot of the books that I read are about, like, Paulo Coelho. He wrote The Alchemist and The Pilgrimage and several other books. All his books are about going searching for something and then being guided into a different direction. And he takes all these spiritual journeys to different countries looking for different things, and then he meets people, and then they end up taking him another way, and then eventually he gets to it. So that's kind of how I look at life. It's so that, and I've been like that since early on.
Dope.
So it was just kind of like, okay, they gave me an opportunity to go lose the weight. But, I didn't have a trainer. I didn't know anything about that. Like, I never had to watch my weight. I was an athlete. So, but yeah, like my whole thing was like, I'm just going to go do something else and I'll get in the industry that way. And
right. So you would end up at a Macy's makeup counter.
Yeah.
Was that like, did you already have like someone to give you a reference to get the job, or you just...
No, I think I just went in there and charmed them. And it was cool. I mean, they made me wear that blue dress with the blue stockings and the blue heels. But navy blue.
Okay.
But and then they put you through, they don't just throw you out there. You have to go to school and learn some stuff before you can just go do that. So,
right. So with the job, like, was it fun?
It was fun for me.
You made it fun.
I made it fun. I made it fun. And the cool thing is that I had a cool manager that managed the whole cosmetic department. So she was always trying to do fun stuff with fashion shows and things like that. And a funny story, I don't know if you heard about this, but Terry Crews, before I even knew him, his wife came in to my counter.
Wow.
Or she passed by or something, and she was with her daughters, and I had asked them to do their makeup or something. I was bored, or no, it wasn't busy. And I did his wife or his daughter's makeup, and it was like this, there was like something really special that happened, I guess, once they got home when it came to the makeup or something. It was like this really cool story, and he shared it with me when we finally worked together on Friday after next.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn big for them to remember you back then.
Yeah.
Like just thinking about that from that lens. So you end up getting discovered though at work.
Yeah. This lady approached me one day and she was like, have you ever thought about being a model? And I was like, girl, get out my face. I'm too big. She was like, no, you should meet my daughter. My daughter's a really successful model. She can help you. And so when I finally met with her daughter, she turned out to be a famous plus size model.
Got you.
So I was like, oh, okay, so this is my journey to be a plus size model. And then that wasn't the case either. Yeah.
So what kind of, in terms of when you did get into modeling, did you start working right away, or did you figure out what you were gonna do about the weight dynamic? Were you gonna go plus size?
I mean, I joined a gym, but when I go to the gym, it's like, it's a big talk fest. I go sit in the sauna first, and then I sweat my clothes. This is some really top secret information, but I'll share it with you. So yeah, like when you see me at the gym, I usually am sweating profusely. Like I look like I've done a really hard workout, but I go sit in the sauna. And then that way, because after that, then everyone comes up to you and they're like, oh, can you give me some tips? And I'm just like, yeah, you should do this and you should do that. And then, but that's usually what happens when I go to the gym. So it was a slow process.
Yeah. So you got to do this stand-up show. So from modeling, we would eventually get into acting. How did that even happen?
Well, so I told you about the girl I met with the plus size model, right? So what happened with that was I go to her house, I meet her. she has this roommate who's ear hustling, listening, I guess, whatever. And I took my little pictures from the hair magazines and stuff, and I went to go show her. And then he came in there and he was like, let me see. And he came in, he looked at my pictures, he was like, watch this. And this is another funny story. This is how my life has been, okay? This is crazy. That person ended up being famous, but he wasn't famous at the time.
Got you.
But it was her roommate.
Wow.
He made a phone call to one agency and said, hey, I got this girl, this black girl, she's pretty, da-da-da-da-da, she wants to model, but they want her over here. And they were like, no, bring her here. And then he did the same thing to another these are big agencies.
Right.
And they're like, no, bring her here. So the agency that I ended up going with was LA Models, and that's where this wonderful woman named Krista Clayman believed in me, got me on a diet, trainer, runway coach, got me ready, got me to where I needed to be, and then shipped me overseas. And it was like awesome. And that same woman, after that, then she was like, you know, I think you'll be good in commercials. So then she walked me over to Nick Terzian, who was, I think his offices weren't far from hers. He ended up having a really big commercial agency. She took me over there, and because she's one of them kind of women, when she says something, you just go along with it. Okay. Because she knows. And she got me with the commercial agent, and that's when it really started to pop, because I was literally like, first of all, with the modeling, you walk through the mall, I was in every window. Wilson's Leather, Windsor Fashions. It was just like Macy's. It was crazy. I used to walk through the mall sometimes, I was like, that's me, that's me, that's me, you know? And then it was like the commercials. I was on every commercial. It was like incredible. And then that same woman, Krista Clayman, came to me one day and she was like, sweetie, I think you're ready to be a superstar. And then she took me to Evolution, which is a management company. Okay. And Evolution, they ended up doing the Saw series. They're a huge management company now, and this was in their early stages. And they didn't know if I can act. Nobody knew if I can act. I had a show on MTV called Kidnapped. Okay. With me and Dave Holmes. But no one knew if I can act or not. And there were conversations going on that I wasn't privy to. But it was a setup. Friday After Next was a setup.
What you mean?
Because they called Nancy Greenkeys, Matt Lauer, they called the casting and told them, listen, we're thinking about signing this girl. We don't know if she can act or not. We know you're looking for someone in her, in her group, or however you call it. Looking for, so they said, you're looking for a black girl, da 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 da. And we just read her and let us know if she can act or not. We know she's not gonna get it, but just read her. And so I guess I went in there and did whatever it is I did. And then they called that same company and was like, not only can she act, we think we wanna hire her. So we're gonna have her come in and meet with Ice Cube. And so that's how that goes.
Yeah, so that was
Friday After Next.
How long did that take, that process?
It was fast. This was my first experience with any of this kind of stuff, So it was like, I don't know how it's supposed to go. I didn't know they had this. I was shocked when they called me with the audition. Yeah.
And Ice Cube had to kind of give it the green light? Was it like right away, was there chemistry, or did you have to kind of do another series of auditions with him?
No, it was like I had one meeting with everyone in the room, and yeah. And that person I told you, his name was Eric Lively.
Got you.
That was the girl's roommate. Remember I told you, the one who called the agencies? Wow. Yeah, and so it's just, sometimes when I do interviews and I have to reflect and think about things, and it's just funny how my journey has been, Now,
as far as like you land the role, how are you feeling instantly when you got the word that, hey, we want to work with you on this project with these great talents?
Friday After Next?
Yeah.
I turned it down.
Why?
I turned it down to my team.
Okay.
Because they called me and they were like, you got it. And I was like, oh, well, I don't want it. I read the script and they smoke weed and they curse. Because remember, I was on that real spiritual shit stuff.
Wow.
And I was really like heavy. I wasn't like cult, more, nothing like that. But I just was really like, at the time, I didn't smoke weed. I didn't cuss. I didn't drink. Like, so when you telling me you want me to be in a movie and there's cursing and so this is a funny story. This is like this is like intel. So my people called me and told me I got it, and I was like, I don't want it. I'm not doing it. And they were like, this could change your life. What are you talking about? And I told them why. So they hung up on me, and then they called me back. Andrew Whites was my agent. He was my manager at that smaller company, and then he ended up at a bigger company, but this all happened later. And so he said, you know what, Katie? Fuck. So what, am I going to hell? I was like, I don't know, you got to talk to the Lord about that, child. But the way you was just swaying, you know what I mean? I was really like, and they just really was like, this could change your life, da-da-da-da-da. So that's why I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Dang. That's deep. Because
not a lot of people know that story.
I've never heard that story at all. Because I was thinking about Chris Tucker and his relationship with the franchise, where he's kind of, he was in the same kind of path a bit, and I think that's kind of
well, that's what happened with him, right? That whole, and see, that's the funny thing about, so listen, I don't know how it is now, but back when I was first coming into the game, Los Angeles had this thing with the churches, mega churches.
Okay.
And they had this is from my understanding, other people could have had different experiences, but this is what I knew to be true. They would have their members go out and seek these big celebrities because they want that tithe.
Right.
But what happens is once you get us in the church, then you tell us everything we doing is wrong. So then it's like, okay, well, so I'm gonna stop doing what it is that I was doing to get you that tithe. It's just like this weird thing. Like, and I heard that that's what happened with him. That he was so successful, and then he went and gave his life to Jesus and got saved and stuff like that. And then it was like, okay, you can't cuss anymore. You can't do what you do.
Right.
Okay, well, how's he gonna keep giving you what you?
Yeah. Wow. I see what you're saying.
Because I went to a church that had everybody. It was like Denzel, Angela Bassett, Stevie Wonder. They all, you know what I'm saying? But then there was another church that had a whole different group of.
So does it become more business?
It was starting to. It was. If we had more time, I could definitely tell you some stuff. But it was just things that I experienced. When you go up, you go down, and when you go down, you go to your church for help, and then you end up getting an autographed Bible in the mail. But so things is just.
We'll keep it pushing. But thank you for that, by the way. Now, one thing is. Miss Katie Aubert, you're known for your beauty. That's kind of like the thing that, at least growing up, that's been noticed. I'm sure like you've heard that a lot, being a beautiful woman. As far as like, when did you notice that you were like, I guess you kind of told us, but when did you first notice that maybe your looks were a little bit of different than like maybe just people that you were coming up with? When did you notice your beauty became a thing?
You know what's funny for me? I think that I was so like that tomboy shit was real for me. You know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't like, I didn't lead with beauty. I didn't lead with looks. It was just kind of like, the first time I even ever like thought like, damn, I'm kind of pretty. Was when that photographer approached me. There was that college, it was a female, and she was going to a school for photography, and she approached me and wanted to take some pictures. Mind you, I think I have these pictures. If you see my face, I was so full and just different than what I look like now. But it was like the first time I saw somebody put makeup on me and do something with my hair, and that was and she put like this sepia tones on it or whatever, and it was like, wow. I was like, I'm kind of pretty. Like that's wow. You know what I'm saying? But I was still like, okay, back to the softball field.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was just like it wasn't something where it changed the way I walk or, anything like that. And even to this day, I don't try to lead. I don't lead with what I look like. I don't, I don't depend on it.
Right.
I don't even wear makeup during the day.
Right.
It's just like I don't. I thank God for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I live my life as if, you know what, you got to bank on something else.
Right. So, I got a couple questions in this space. One would be like, do you feel confident? Are you confident in the way that you look? Because I know even sometimes someone that is beautiful, they're not always necessarily feeling they may look the way that they do to others. Does that ever become a thing? Or you just, that you look good and it's no big deal and kind of...
To be honest, currently I'm living in France.
Okay.
And French women don't wear a lot of makeup. At least the region, I'm in the South, I'm not in Paris. Paris is like New York on steroids.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just it was like, I've really gotten more comfortable with my looks. And I feel that I just focus on taking care of my skin. Mm-hmm. And that let me know like I have confidence, mm-hmm. and I'm happy with what I have. When I was able to literally just be so comfortable with going out with, nothing, just mm-hmm. like some moisturizer. But yeah, it's just I'm thankful for it, but it's not like.
Yeah. Does it get annoying that if people only kind of notice that about you?
It gets annoying when people think that I don't have other abilities.
Has that happened in terms of
it happens.
The industry auditions or just like everyday life?
I think it's more or less about. It is. I guess it is about the industry because. But I don't know though. You know why? I'm gonna tell you. I think that you don't really have to spend too much time around me mm-hmm. to figure out like, okay, she's different. There's other levels. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's like you kind of. I think that's probably hurt me in situations because people will set up a meeting or try to meet with me, and then once they find out that I'm not a box of rocks,
you're not a square.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, I thought it was gonna be easier than this.
That's the game of Hollywood is, and I'll be a little blunt, like a pimp hoe relationship.
Yeah. But see, I got friends that are pimps, so it's kept me out of those situations. I got more game than I should have.
Because they do want you to, and this is conversations that I'm always having, but the industry does kind of want to be able to pimp you.
Oh, yeah.
And
the greener, the better.
I think, it gets intimidating if you know the game versus you're just like a pretty face and I could tell you some big words and you're caught up in the words.
Why you think y'all ain't seen me in so long?
Understood. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. So that's interesting to hear that. As far as you end up doing video Vixen work. Video Vixen, like music videos?
Yeah.
And what were some of the most notable ones that you can remember, music videos?
Of mine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I love everything I've done. The Lloyd video is one of my favorites, the Lay It
mm-hmm.
Down.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun. And then the Fabulous video, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The Lloyd video. The thing is, I don't just take jobs.
Okay.
Even now, with movies and stuff like that. Like I look at I listen to the song before I make the decision. I look at who's directing it, who's the artist, what do they stand for, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, man, I also want to take this moment to say since we're on this topic. I am so bothered, and I know that this conversation was something that's probably, this is a conversation that has been discussed before.
Okay.
But I don't really like it that people try to say bad things about girls that do music videos. And I always take offense to that when I hear people talk about video vixens or what girls were doing on set and, you know, and the things like that, because that was never my experience. And I think, you know, and the Trade It All 2 video with Puff and Fabulous and everybody, that was awesome. But I mean, you know, it's like I've never been on set and had I don't put myself in those type of situations. I never have. That's why you don't really hear my name coming up in a bunch of madness.
Right.
You know, it's just how you conduct yourself. And it's your team, or there's a lot. But, you know, when people talk bad about girls that have done music videos, everybody ain't out here doing that. So, you know, and I was able to go from music videos to movies. Right. So, you know, it's all about how you handle yourself. And I've never had any type of Me Too movements or whatever, you know what I'm saying, with these rappers, with the singers, I've never had to deal with that. So I take offense to it when people try to talk down on girls who do music videos.
Yeah, I think it's just to maybe some of the women that have done it, do you feel like they've given that part of the industry a bad rap? Like your Corinne Steffens of the world?
I mean, I don't knock nobody hustle, right? Do what you do, get your money, boo. It rhymes, so I had to throw that in there. No, but I don't. Everybody's, you know, motive is different. Yeah. But don't wrangle us all up in your, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what you over here trying to do. Like, you know, some of us are really trying to create some beautiful, you know, some masterpieces, or, you know, some of us are, you know, doing it for other reasons, and, you know.
Kind of moving past, and the question was, were you ever prejudged being a video vixen?
I mean, I was always given props. I mean, I've always received nothing but positive feedback, positive accolades. I've never, you know, I've had the artists contact me afterwards and thank me, you know, because usually when we're on set, there's not a lot of interaction. But I've gotten calls through my people or whatever, you know, and they're like very appreciative of how it turned out.
Dope. As far as Friday After Next, you would shoot the movie and the experience was a good experience?
Friday After Next was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a great experience. That was my first experience. And it was like, I thought all movies were gonna be like this. So it was awesome because it was so much fun. There was good food. Everybody was just like, and you know, me and Kat were like the two rookies because everybody else had already worked together. So, you know, it was like me and him kind of always stayed close because we were like the you know, and the new kids. And, but it was like such a family, you know, it was such a family environment. There's another word, I just can't pull it, but yeah, it was very, it was an incredible experience.
Yeah. The movie comes out. Did you instantly know that, okay, my life is gonna change, because your team was telling you that? Did you feel that your life was gonna change once the movie was out and marketing began to happen?
I knew it was change. My life changed because them phones started ringing after that movie came out. My phone was ringing. And in the photo shoots and the interviews and the red carpets, and you know, you go from playing softball to that, you know, I was like, oh, and you know, my family was with me every step of the way. I took my family to the because back then they would give you a lot of tickets to the premieres. So I had like my mom, my dad, everybody was there. And And yeah, that was like, that was when I felt my life was changing.
Yeah. How close was the character Donna to your actual self?
Donna is like the submissive side. That's kind of that's the side you get when you're in a relationship with me. I'm a lot different when I'm in a relationship. I really love. It's not playing, because it is a side of me, but most people don't know. But I'm really strong, but when I'm in love or if I'm in a relationship, I'm really submissive. I have that old school, like, my desires have always, like, I guess it's a bad thing to want to be a housewife,
I mean,
but like I think that's cool to be that one that's nurturing and you know and making sure he's eating the best foods and the house is the best house and you know, like, I thought that was like I've always thought that was.
is that still a goal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like in training for that.
And how are you
It's
being
like-
training for a housewife?
Well, I know my cooking is on point, and my interior design is good. You know, it's all it's like training for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be that best wife.
So we are on the subject of marriage, right? So kind of speaking in the terms of marriage and being a wife, you know, I can only assume that, you know, you have been proposed to. So why aren't you currently married or haven't been married?
It's two parts, right? One is my choice. Again, I've never had that pressure, like I have to hurry up and do something, and you know, there's 7 billion people on the planet. And then there's like my choice, my selection of men.
Okay.
I told you I don't have a lot of regrets in life. One of my other regrets are, and just so you know, right? When I'm in a relationship, it usually goes on for a while. And what happens is, I've learned that I have this thing about me where it's like, I tend to go towards relationships where, like, I'll fall for a guy that I'm like, you ever hear women say they fall for a guy with great potential? Like, I know I'm the kind of chick where if you were with me, can I cuss? Yeah, I can fucking take you to like a whole nother level in your life. And even no matter what your level of success is, like, that's where I'm extremely confident, where it's like, I know the type of chick that I am. And so what happens is I end up investing that in the wrong person. And emotionally, in regards to time.
Yeah.
And you can't get time back. And it's like, and then you could build somebody up, and then you build them up so much, then they start to feel like they're above you. You know? And so it's like, it's my choice that I'm waiting for that feeling or for that individual. And then there is the bad choices.
Kind of more so falling in love with potential.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then they end up like leaving or cheating or doing something stupid with somebody who's like 10 levels, 10 floor, like bottom feeders.
Yeah. That typically happens.
Oh God. And then when you see who it's with, and you're just like, clearly I was wasting my time.
When you said that you can elevate your partner,
Yeah.
in what terms? Mentally?
Whatever is required, whatever is.
Because you sound like a pimp.
I told you I have friends that are.
So tell
They're
me,
not really those kind of pimps.
what is Katie's crash course for someone that is dating you?
Oh, I'm not.
How do I get elevated?
There's no manual. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, if you're if you're involved in hedge funds or you know, things like that, then it's like there's ways that I can maybe show you some things and build you up and see where you know, where you're weak and where you're strong and you know, those type of things. If you know, it just depends on, you know, it's just like Operation Build 'em Up.
Okay. So in the space of building him up, are you falling for younger men? 'Cause younger men-
No. Now,
Okay.
see, that's the thing. I can't be with someone that I can't, because communication is like
There's some mature
everything.
young people.
There are some mature young people, but there are just certain things that I don't know that I have the patience to endure or to withstand, deal with. I don't know, you know? It's like being with somebody and you play music and they just have no clue what song it is you know what I'm saying? And music is like everything.
I've had friends and even women that I've dated who didn't have children or weren't married at the time. It seems that your family always puts like a lot of pressure. Like, where your man at? Or what's this at? What has your family's relationship been in your love life?
My family, they don't do that. My family are like my best friends. And they know when I bring someone around, they just kind of observe. They know that I know what I'm doing, you know, and they also know that if they see red flags or if they see something, they can come to me and tell me. And if my family tells me that they see something, because they know me better than anybody. So if my family comes to me and tells me that they see something ain't right, yeah, they like it, no, they like, you know, like, I listen. Sometimes they don't say something because they might say, oh, she's too far gone, she's not gonna listen or whatever, you know. But, you know, it's always a village decision.
Yeah, they got to pass the test.
Yeah.
You did mention that one part of it is that you have chosen not to be married. Is it like you just love being single?
No.
Is it, why? Because you also want to be married, but then you
I mean,
also,
actually, that's a lie. I like being single. I don't love it, but I like it. But I feel I like being in relationships because I'm like, okay, I got that part out the way.
Right.
Now I can go get my hustle. I can go focus on, you know, getting money or doing whatever, you know what I mean, that
Right.
part, or working as a team, whatever it is.
Right.
But, you know, I just prefer to be in a relationship, but I'm not one of them kind of people that gets out of one and jumps into another one. Like, I need at least 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, at least like 2 years,
Wow.
2 to 3 years to, like, you know, get back. Because if it is with me, if it ends, you know, it's like, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in that time.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of amazing locations, memories, moments. You know what I mean? You roll with me, like, your life is gonna be full of some shit you'll never forget. So you gotta, like, deplete all that.
Got you. Makes sense. Kind of want to make sure we get a couple things out the way. So is there a fear, though, that you have in closing out in the space of marriage? Do you fear like it may never happen?
Oh, no. I don't fear that at all. It's like having children. I've done my best to try to preserve myself as best I can. I'm not like a big partier and a hardcore drinker and things like that. You know, I've taken really good care of myself. I get plenty of sleep. I drink a lot of water. And so it's like some people might say, oh, you know, when you get older, you can't have kids, or are you worried about this? I'm not. I'm not worried about marriage. I'm not worried about kids because I know it's what I want.
Right.
Like, I have to reproduce. That's when you, like, and you know, and I don't trust medicine.
I got you.
You know, I don't trust what a doctor is going to say. Oh, you know, you're just not producing what you need to produce. You know, you can't. That's where God comes in. You know, and so far through my life, I've pretty much gotten everything that I've wanted.
Got you. So the game plan is marriage, and then the child, or would you feel some type of way if you were baby moms?
Next question. That's just not something. Let me tell you why, okay? I have nothing against baby mamas, but I'm gonna tell you, like, I love who I am. I love my personality. I love the way I make people feel. And I love how, I just love the person, the woman that I am. And I feel like if a man were to give me a child and then leave or cheat or just do something that causes us to no longer be together, I fear how that would change my personality. Like, you know, I don't believe all these women are crazy. That my baby mama, she crazy. I don't believe it's
hurt.
I think it's the hurt. I think this woman really believed that was gonna be it. You was gonna be her Mr. Forever, and that when that baby came, not all. I know some people might have a motive or whatever, but I don't think these women all start off crazy like that.
Right.
But I'ma just tell you, like, I can't even imagine having to watch another woman raise my child. I can't even tell you what that must feel like to have to be okay with another woman playing mom. Like, I don't know what that would do.
Could you date a man, or is one of your standards, would you date a man with children?
Yeah, I've been with a man with kids.
So it's different if you're on that side of the fence?
But he wasn't like, these kids were older.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? I tried to build a connection with the mom, and I never came in and was like, I'm your mama. I'm like, I'm just a female figure here to help guide you and give you I teach you how to cook, give you some, you know, some positive advice and things like that. I wasn't trying to come in and replace nobody. And I made that very clear. And that was like, and I tried to, you know, I had sit downs with the mom and was like, girl, look, I ain't trying to, things didn't work out with y'all. They were separated for like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, you got time to be crazy and then let the crazy go as the baby mama.
Fair. So no to the baby mama question. You would not tolerate being someone's baby moms.
Listen, if that's God's plan. Okay. But me, we talked, and that ain't what, you know, where is he at? Just kidding.
So I do have a question, right? So when you do get married, we're going to speak that into existence.
Thank you.
You don't plan on getting divorced?
No.
Are you going to be like, yo, we not? Because the fact of what you went through in your childhood, I'm sure that's going to be some residue there in your own marriage.
I mean, you can't stop what somebody else is going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in my heart, I know what to do to make the shit work. You know, I'm not the kind of chick, I don't argue, I don't go through your phone. I'm not that kind of, like, if we argue, if I feel like I gotta go through your phone, we don't need to be together. That's it.
Right.
Once the trust is broken, it's pretty much a wrap.
Peace is important.
That's my theory. So, you know, it's kind of like, I feel like communication can fix just about anything. You know, I'm a very honest person. And so, you know, it's and I've waited this long, so it's kind of like, I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character. I have made mistakes. Not a lot, because like I told you, my relationships are pretty lengthy. We're talking like 5 years plus. So it's not like I've had a lot of time to be out here wilding. But I feel, if it happens, it happens. But it's not something that I really highly doubt it would come to that.
I think it's just a thing of, what you represent. In terms of statistics, if you learn to lean into statistics, successful black women, the rate of which you guys are being like married, it's getting kind of slim, and it seems to be a challenge.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, times are different. Times are different now, baby. And it's I think social media has kind of destroyed a lot of what love used to mean and what love used to be. And I think that's why for me, I just try to hold on to older traditional ways, because it's almost extinct. What love used to mean, what love used to represent, and things like that. So I kind of still believe in a different style, and I look at love, I think, differently than a lot of people maybe in this generation or in this time, or I don't. Yeah. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, I'm gonna pivot out of that space because that seems it could be its own conversation.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about. I want to get a couple more questions to you. Soul Plane was another moment in your career. Soul Plane would come out opposite of Kevin Hart. You would play again a love interest. Now, when the movie first came out, it got some backlash, or people didn't receive it. How did you take that in when you saw people publicly criticizing some work that you were part of?
The funny thing about Soul Plane, it was funny because people were asking me about the movie while we were still filming it. Because I was traveling, I was flying in and out to different things, and while we were filming, and people was like, I saw your movie with the plane, the airplane. I'm like, what are you talking about? Your movie with the plane, how does it end? I'm like, the one I'm filming right now? Yeah, how does it end? Because I got it all the way up until, I'm like, are you joking? And then I was at this soul food restaurant in Inglewood, California, and this guy was telling me, he was like, man, you don't even know, your movie is the most requested. The one with the airplanes. I'm like, the one we're filming right now? It was crazy. I had never, this was 2004. Friday After Next came out in 2002, so I'm new, I'm still kind of new. And it really wasn't until, I guess, Chris Tucker was the one that talked shit about it at the Oscars or something like that. That's where it came from.
Okay. I didn't know Chris even would comment on that. Chris Tucker or Chris Rock?
Oh, was it Chris Rock? Maybe it was Chris Rock. But
that sounded like a Chris, maybe.
Yeah, I think it might have been Chris Rock. Chris Rock said some really horrible things about it at the Oscars or something like that. And then that's when, I was starting to hear people talk about how it's going to be really bad for the movie, and then the bootlegging had a lot to do with it too.
Did it hurt you?
One of the most bootleg movies in history or something.
Did it hurt you when people were kind of talking bad about it?
No, I was working on another movie at that time. By the time it came out.
As far as
I mean, it screws you with the residuals.
Okay, yeah. But as far as the film wouldn't really produce, it wouldn't live up to box office expectations. Were you even worried about that at that point, or did you just keep moving on to the next project?
Well, that whole box office game, that affects me as an actress because, it affects your
scorecard.
Yeah. And all that stuff, is plays a role in your salary and your job offers and things like that. So it affects you in that way.
Yeah.
But I'm just here to have fun. These are all fun for me. That's why it's I haven't really been pressed with this stuff because it's not like I graduated from big theatrical academy,
Right.
university
Right. Right.
you know what I'm saying? This is just all fun for me. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, I'm on to the next, really.
Yeah. So like, last few questions. Were you ever afraid to get typecast because you were playing like the girl next door, the pretty girl next door?
It wasn't even a thing until I heard other people talk about it. Like, are you tired of being the pretty girl? Are you tired? And I was like, oh, I am? Oh, that's it? Oh, y'all think that's all I got? Oh. And the thing is, they don't know me in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you knew me in real life and you see these characters that I play, it's like people that know me or whatever, they're like, girl, your ass be acting. Cause I know you ain't, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and then so for someone to say, you're just the pretty girl, or you're just the pretty girl with a few lines, I'm like, and which is great because now I'm like, oh, okay, let me show, you know what I'm saying? Let me like, I still am waiting for somebody to let me show my real inner thug side because that's gonna shock people.
So, I mean, speaking of that,
kidding.
like, why do you think we have kind of seen you less in today's time? Like, what was the reason, like maybe a core reason for that?
I don't know. It's funny because it's like there's like a couple of things that I think hindered my. I found out recently, not too like maybe a couple years ago, I found out that there was like some casting director, a sister, that was attempting to blackball me or something. There was like this rumor that I was, they give you this. So when they wanted, and I learned this from another actress that it happened to her from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Aunt Viv, and she was talking about how one person can say that you're difficult to work with or you're hard, which is crazy because if you've ever worked with me on a set, you will know like when I'm on set, I tell people when I'm on set, that's my playground. As long as I have my coffee, you know what I'm saying? Like, I am like a kid in a candy store. It's like all that adventure from my childhood comes out. So for someone to say that I'm difficult to work with, like if I ask for coffee, because we black actresses, I heard we're not allowed to ask for stuff or we get called,
Okay.
But yeah, so it was like I found out that someone was trying to sabotage me. So that had something to do with it. And then there was like, and then there was the whole like, just not really being accepted into these cliques because there's like these cliques. And I've tried to build bonds with other actresses in Hollywood. And I've really, it's like you work with somebody, you working on a project for, 2 or 3 months at a time or whatever. You think that you guys have built some type of bond and then the movie's over and you don't hear from them. So it's like, oh, okay. And I'm new, so this is all new.
Yeah.
I really never had anybody walk me through how this stuff works. Like your agents tell you a certain level of information they give you. But I mean, I think for me, I was more interested in traveling.
Yeah.
And I did movies over in Africa. Like I've been active, but I haven't been active on a bigger scale maybe.
States.
Like I've been working.
Yeah. I think that's where people just try to, figure that dynamic out because you have all these great qualities and it's like, okay, but why isn't she in this particular conversation?
Yeah, and representation has a lot to do with it. You a lot of times with us, we end up letting not so great people handle your career and there's those issues too. But I think for me, I've been so content in my life with just having I don't know. I just kind of do whatever I want to do. Like my family, they always say you're like Pippi Longstocking. Like I just kind of do what I want to do, and I go where I want to go, and I'll stay as long as I want to stay. Like I went to do some work and I was modeling in Germany and I liked it, so I stayed there a couple months.
Gotcha.
So
and freedom seems to be kind of your currency.
I'm just not pressed for fame.
Yeah, because I feel like if you were thirsty, is probably the term.
Let me tell you, if I was thirsty, honey, it'd be. I'm trying not to offend because some thirsty people, they wear their thirst with pride. So I don't want to like offend. But yeah, I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing,
Were you ever hurt that maybe some of the women veterans didn't quite throw you under their wing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
sure
there's some that been cool though. Like it's some OGs that's been real cool, and it's not like cool like here, come work with me, here's a job.
Yeah.
But I just appreciate the fact that they're nice to me when they see me, because some of them are not always nice. And I'm cool because I ain't running around here with all these insecurities. I don't, what's for you is for you. It don't really affect me. You know what I'm saying?
But they say the industry's full of insecure people.
You ain't talking to one. But, it's like everybody has different things. Like, listen, if I was a single actress with kids, I'm sure my hustle would be, or if I was married actress with kids, I'm sure my hustle would be a whole lot different. You know what I'm saying? I just have that liberty where I can just kind of like live that lackadaisy lifestyle, and I don't. My age isn't even a factor,
right.
So I don't let that come in and be like, oh my God, I gotta hurry up and do this because I'm, that's not, So it's just, yeah, but it hurts a little bit. But like I said, I believe that the way my life is going, the way my life has been, I know I'm gonna get to a point where, I'll either get the appreciation. It's gonna come a time where either me and those individuals will end up working together, and maybe they'll see another side and feel bad for how they treated me or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like I don't really worry about it.
And there was a question about, has the industry been fair to you? Is it a yes or a no?
But what's fair?
Maybe recognizing you
I could work a lot harder.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could, if I was to work a lot harder, I could gain. It's me. It's them and it's me too.
Someone's got to submit.
Yeah.
Someone's got to say, I need you, or I.
Cause hear me tell you something, right? If this shit don't work out, like you don't understand. Like I am totally fine.
See, that's the problem.
Oh, I'm not supposed to say that.
No.
Oh.
You supposed to be thirsty.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not supposed to be.
Ask me the question again.
I forgot what I asked.
Listen, I'm telling you, I know it sounds crazy, but my motto is, I'm just here to have fun and make a lot of money.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why I want to make a lot of money is because I want to be able to do whatever it is I want to do. If I want to go live in Brazil, I want to be able to live in Brazil.
That part.
If I want to, I have this wonderful life. I'll tell you a funny story, right? I know we have to go, but so I currently reside in South France. I grow my own food. I just recently got my green card.
Okay.
So I have dual citizenship. And I was just talking to the makeup artist, and I was telling her that, because I have to go to school in order to gain citizenship, you have to learn the language, you have to go to school, do all these things, learn about the system, the whole country, blah, blah. And I take the city bus every day to school. No one knows me in my region.
Right.
And I love it. I live a completely different life in France than I do when I'm here in America. And, I walk to the grocery store, I go to the farmer's market, and I just have this whole different life. I go sit by the ocean and have a little cup of coffee, or, it's like, I love cooking. I go and explore castles and shit. You
That's
know,
dope.
it's just a whole different, and I'm really happy and I'm really content with that. So, you know, it's like, if this doesn't work out,
Life is still good.
I've learned how to be so happy with other things
Yeah.
that it's like, that's what it is for me. And that's why, you know, I don't always feel like I fit in, because I'm trying to, sometimes I find myself trying to force myself. It's like when I come back to America, all my clothes get tight. Everything gets shorter. You know, it's like I wear more makeup. Everything changes when I come here. But I'm more, as soon as I get off that plane, when I land in America, it's like my whole everything. It's like you're preparing for war or something. You come here and it's like, but when I go back to France, it's like,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I've found a different type of.
Is it the region itself, or more so just you being out of a place that demands
It's
so much
both.
from you?
It's both. Because the thing is, it's just like, and being in America, it's like, I don't, like being in France, I just don't have the same fears that I have here. No one has guns. The cops don't have guns. We have siesta every day, so the police station closes from 12:30 to 2:30 so they can go home and take a nap. All the businesses close every day from 12:30 to 2, because the law is for you to go home and take a nap.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That's the mentality that we have there.
That's beautiful.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like, and then you come here and it's work. And it's like, you got to make the most money. It's a whole different thing. And
Do you
that's,
think that mentality is needed to be number one, though?
yeah. Oh, to be number one.
Yeah. As far as America, you know.
Well, no,
at
let
one
me tell you
point-
though, when I come back here, I work. Even I'm here, sometimes I just come here for like a month or 2 months just to check on my family. But I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you know,
This is work related now.
yeah.
This interview is work related.
No, yeah. Because I'll forget who I am when I'm.
Last question. This has been a great conversation. What's next for you? What are we doing next? Life, career, what do
I have a lot of great stuff happening right now. I'm actually really happy that I came back, because you know, this whole pandemic thing has really like changed a lot. I wasn't able to come home. The borders were closed.
You were stuck overseas.
And, yeah.
Okay.
And you know, I have dual citizenship, so I had tried to come back as a French citizen, and America was like, no. And then once the borders opened up, I was like, no, I'm American. And then, you know what I'm saying? So that was fun. But I'm glad I came back, because there's a lot of, I didn't realize how much people have been waiting for me to come back, get on this, you know,
It's needed. I think it's a good time, because things were closed, kind of put everybody back in like a neutral place, you know?
But you know, for me, honestly, it was a little tricky, because honestly, like, I just didn't know how I fit into this new job, like this new way, you know? Like, I
Yeah.
just didn't know how I fit in. It's like, okay, I gotta go take some twerking classes.
So was it?
I've gotta do more squats.
Were you intimidated to return? You are competitive, given the fact that you played, grew up doing softball.
I'm very competitive. And I know that comes from playing sports. I started playing softball when I was 5.
But now you're...
But it's like, intimidated is not really the word. It's just more about like, how do I finagle this? Where's my space at? Where's my spot in this way? Because even with social media, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I don't have somebody that I could if I wanted to, But I just don't have someone following me around, like taking pictures, and and everything I do doesn't have to revolve around being sexy, being sexy, being sexy. It's like, it's kind of like, but I have so much other cool shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that was like the intimidation, if there was any. It was just like, just trying to figure out, like, how do I fit in this new.
Right.
Because, you know, all this stuff, I did all this stuff. You know that.
Yeah.
The King magazines, the Maxim. I was on Maxim Hot 100 list 3 years in a row. Like,
right.
I've done all the sexy shit.
Right. Right.
You know? So it's like, do I go back?
I don't think that's the hustle. I think.
Because, you know, that's what determines whether you get the job or not now.
But I think, I mean, do you have to be an actress to be a part of this industry, or can you just be some type of entertainment mogul?
But that's where the music comes in at, because, you know, I did music before entertainment.
Okay.
Before acting and stuff. So, you know, it's like, I'm just creative. As long as I'm being creative, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so that's my whole thing, is just like, where does my creativity and what I bring to the table, just making it fit. And I feel like I've figured that out. So that's why I believe, and the timing is, you know, I'm in a much better space, because before, you know, things were coming so fast to me in my career. You got to understand, like, I went from playing softball to Friday After Next. Well, I had the little show on MTV, but it was like Friday After Next, Soul Plane, and then next thing you know, I'm working with The Rock and Michael Clark Duncan and the Scorpion King, and then it was just like television series, and it came really fast for somebody who was literally just trying to, like, take some pictures. And there were times where even then you don't really have time to, sometimes you don't have time to create that inner strategy, you know what I'm saying? And so there's things that I've done along the way that I probably could have done better.
Like what?
There's things that I've done along the way that I could have done better. But I feel like I'm in a much better space now.
Cool. Well, that is your first one-on-one with Hype Plus. Miss Katie Aubert, thank you very much.
Thank you, and I just want to say thank you to all my fans. I want to say thank you to Comedy Hype Plus, because you know, it definitely opened my eyes, you know, to this new. It was a revelation, you know. You sometimes you don't know. And it's just like, you know, when you don't know if you're doing a good job. You don't really know, because
you're referring to the piece that we released, and seeing everyone's kind of reaction.
Yeah, and you know, my whole thing is, I've just always had my head down running. I finish one movie, I'm on to the next. I'm on to the next. What can I do to, you know? It's just like everything is just, you know, that's why I love to travel so much, because that's my release. You know, and I go live in other countries because it enables me to, like, be more open to a whole different culture and just learn more about myself, add more to my toolkit. You know, so I'm really thankful and appreciative, and there is so much more to come. I have some really great things going on right now. There's a play. I'm actually getting ready to start a play, which is my first time doing theater.
That's gonna be fun.
So that's gonna be fun. So stay tuned for that. And then, you know, just some fun stuff with the music, some other movie projects that have come my way since I've been back on American soil. So yeah, I'm actually really excited.